Papa, some people have a lot of social capital. They have a lot of friends and acquaintances. They all want to be part of the big day. What's wrong if I go and see one or two people that, hey, I found somebody that I want to marry. Can you please help with 10,000? Can you help with 5,000 and 2,000? That's why they are friends and family after all.
It's still wrong because you are still not a man. You are not responsible. How are you going to take care of the woman after the marriage? Are you still going to go to all these friends and family to be asking for money? When she gets pregnant, she's throwing up, and she has a different appetite to eat different things, and then she goes to the hospital. Who pays the hospital bill? The doctor's bill, medications. You go back to your family and your friends. You're not responsible. You're not ready. So it's not just about you love the person. You have to be responsible. And these kind of mentality and attitude in our society, oh, let's help him, oh, let's help them, we are not doing justice to future generations. We are making them irresponsible. They must take responsibility. They have to save. They have to save for the child coming, for the pregnancy, for the school fees, for the medicals, and some of them don't even have a place to stay. Some live in somebody's boys' quarters. They live in an uncompleted house, and you married again, you take it to an uncompleted house. And others also marry and they go and stay in the girls, with the girl's father and mother, parents. Now, there's nothing wrong about that. Right. But I'm saying that you have to be responsible because men have a need, and the need of every man is respect. And that is very important. And the need of every woman is affection. So if you begin the marriage staying with the parents of the woman for a while, whilst you are preparing yourself to move into your own house or your own rented house, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people do it in a way where the woman begins to lose respect for you. And as soon as she loses respect for you, the marriage is over. Because she'll begin to misbehave, despise you, look down upon you. And then you also feel like I can't show her affection and love if you mishandle me, disrespect me, because the need of every man is respect. But a woman is not going to respect you and submit to you when you can't pay the bills. And when you marry and you are staying in her father's house and mother's house, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that is not a problem. If you have to do that for a season, do it. But it shouldn't be permanent. And you must have a plan. And these are things that must be discussed and agreed upon before you say, I do. Like on the 20th of March, we are having a seminar, 5 things you must know before you say, I do. And if you don't know them and you marry, you'll be in problem. You have problems.
Papa, with that being said, are you not discouraging the young men in this country or even in the church who have found love and want to settle down? Are you not discouraging them because they don't have the 100,000 threshold? I'm
not talking about 100,000 here. I'm talking about being prepared, ready, and being responsible. So it's not about 100,000, okay, 50,000, 10,000, or 20,000.
So what does being prepared look like for you, or according to you?
You have to save. You must have what it takes to be able to take care of another person or individual. And a lot of people can't take care of even themselves, much more taking care of somebody else. And I'm saying that marriage is a responsibility. It's not just a matter of love. The Bible didn't say, for this purpose shall a man. He didn't say for love shall a man leave his father. He said for this purpose. You know, purpose. So marriage is about purpose, fulfilling purpose. You know, so it comes with responsibility. And for instance, I was telling the church the other day that one of the reasons why a lot of women are not married is because they are not wives material. And a lot of men are not also husband material. There's a difference between being a woman and being a wife. There's a difference between being a man and being a husband.
What's the difference?
And even a father.
What's the
difference?
There
are differences, you know. So the Bible says he that finds a wife, it didn't say he that finds a woman. but a wife. So a wife here has to do with an office. It has to do with what you have become. You become a wife. You are not born a wife. You are born a woman. You are born a boy or a man or male or female. To become a wife, you become. So mothers must train their daughters to become wives. Fathers must train their boys or sons to become men and then husbands. And those are issues we are not dealing with in any of our educational system. Men are not groomed and trained to become a husband or to become a father. Years ago, I told my kids I was having some challenges, and I said, let me tell you something. I've never been a father before. This is my first time of being a father. So you all got to give me some break here because I'm learning on the job.
Right.
You know, but I should have been taught before I became a father what it means to be a dad. And we're not teaching this thing in our educational system. And we send all our children to the West, including all of us, because that's the norm. That is what happens. So we all do that. But there's nothing in our educational system here in Ghana, in Africa, or in the West that teaches our children how to become fathers, men, or teach our daughters how to become wives. So if you are not a wife material and you marry, you're going to have problems. And maturity is also important. I've seen that so many people, including some of my kids, who married under the age of 30 are having serious problems. And they will have problems because marriage is also maturity.
Knowing what you know now, what would you say is the true purpose of marriage?
The true purpose of marriage, there are different schools of thought or perspective. But as I understand it, it has to do with fulfilling God's purpose. God had a plan. He established this union called marriage right from the beginning in the book of Genesis. And if you really want to understand God's original intent, you have to go back to the beginning, because everything God did is after a pattern. And I believe that it has to do with God's purpose, that through the man and the woman becoming one and being in partnership, produce children, replenish the earth, subdue the earth. You know, so we develop after our own kind, whom God has made us to be, and empower generations that comes after us to carry out God's agenda in replenishing the earth and subduing it and having dominion and being fruitful. You know, and it all comes into an understanding of God's original intent and partnership, that he gave the dominion mandate to man, and Adam and Eve were supposed to carry out the dominion mandate and then hand it over to the generation after them, and then the generation after them hands it over, because God is a generational God. He's a trans-generational God. He said to Abraham, I will bless you so you can be a blessing. Then he said, I will bless thee and be a God to you and your seed after you in their generation. Right. So God is a generational God. So whatever the original intent, it's continue and has not changed. And it began with Adam and Eve, male and female. Be blessed, be fruitful, reproduce after your own kind, and let them also reproduce after their own kind, fulfilling the dominion mandate where the earth is concerned.
In church sometimes you've met the person and the feeling is there. And the feeling is there. But when you assess the man, you can tell that even if you gave this man 10,000 years, he won't be able to even raise 100,000. But maybe for you, the woman, God has blessed you and you're well-to-do. Would it be wrong if you want to sponsor the entire wedding?
Again, like I said, it's debatable. And it has to do with you as an individual. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. And one of the things you must really look out for when you're a woman and you're going to marry a man is character.
Okay.
The character of the person, the values system of the person. Character, and Jesus said, you shall know them by their fruit, not by how handsome they are, not by how eloquent or gifted, or how good they smell. Character. So you have to, and you must also know what you want.
Right.
You must know the kind of man you deserve to marry. It's not just any man you can marry. So you got to know yourself. And that is what, and I think sometimes out of desperation, frustrations and everything, both sides, both men and women just give in and just settle for what comes. But you shouldn't settle. You shouldn't settle for anything. You must settle for what you deserve and what you want.
But one side of the conversation says that we've dwelt a lot, or you dwelt a lot, on the man being prepared. How about the woman? Is she not supposed to be financially prepared also?
She has to. She has to be prepared. But this is debatable. And the thing here is because a lot of men sometimes can disappoint women. This must be, it's a thin line. You got to handle this very, very carefully. Because I know women, and a lot of my daughters in the church, who will go out of their way if the man is serious to also contribute, put their monies together.
Right.
And sometimes after all that, the guy decides to go for somebody else. After they've contributed, they saved their money, they've done everything, purchased a land together, done everything together. Then the guy decides that, you know what, I'm not interested. So that is another issue. But for me, I believe that marriage must be 100%, not 50-50. So if the man has 20,000 and the woman has 80,000, you must bring it together to make 100, and it's for both of you, because the two shall become one. In the true sense of scripture, that is the way it should be. But in the light of our today's society, and if you look at the what you call the nature of man, and the way we are, both men and women, it's difficult to tell somebody's daughter to bring her savings and add it to another person's savings to make it 100%. And then the guy decides, I'm not interested anymore, I've seen somebody else. And she's put all her savings into an account, and the guy takes the money and runs away. I mean, so it's debatable.
It is, because you've made a very salient point. So do you say that the right age for marriage should be over 30? Is that what you're saying, if I understand you correctly?
Honestly speaking, it all has to do with maturity.
Okay.
In the Jewish society, they see the number 30 as the number of maturity. And it is believed that the first 30 years of our lives are learning years. The second 30 years of our lives are within our achieving years. And the third 30 years of our life are within what they call our legacy years. Okay. Now, David became king at the age of 30 and ruled for 40 years. Joseph, 30. Jesus began his ministry at the age of 30. And so it's not just about the 30, but it speaks of maturity. Okay. That maturity is very important. Because I've seen people who are above 30 who are very immature, and others too mature. So it's all about maturity. Right. And when you become mature, you do right. And so somebody that is mature will understand that to marry, I have to be responsible. Am I responsible? Do I have what it takes to marry? And I think people should be honest with themselves, because sometimes all these weddings we're trying to do is too expensive. We waste a lot of money. For instance, take engagement. In the Western culture, you meet a woman and you fall in love with her, even though you don't go through all the stages that we'll be dealing with on the 20th of March before you say, I do. And then, so in their culture, you give her a ring, it's a promise and a commitment that I will marry you. Right. In our culture here, engagement is what we call our traditional marriage. And by law, traditional marriage is a marriage. So you don't have to do engagement in our setting here, and then after that go and do blessing in the church or the ordinance or go to registrar general.
Where the lady will wear the white gown and all of that?
You don't need all that, because the white gown, the fact of the matter, you wear it once and then after you throw it away. Even when a woman dies, you can't wear it, because by the time she dies, you can't wear it anymore. So what is the use of the wedding gown? Now, I'm not saying that if you can afford it and you have what it takes, you shouldn't do it. That's not what I'm saying. If you can afford it, do it. But if you have to go and borrow to buy a wedding gown, and then you marry, because what you must be thinking about is after the marriage. So whether you marry in the church, or you go to registrar general, or you do traditional between the two parents, it's all marriage. If you can afford it, and you have what it takes after the marriage to live a happy afterlife, then go ahead and do it. But don't try and do it when you haven't prepared to do it, when you don't have what it takes. It's creating too many problems. I was talking to a young pastor the other day, and he's planning to marry. So I asked him, how much have you saved? He said, nothing. So I said to the bishop, he's not qualified for counseling, nothing. I said, this is a problem. How are you going to marry somebody's daughter when you haven't saved a dime? And he's planning to have a wedding. So what he's going to do is he's going to go around begging for money and marry with all those money he collects from people. And then after the marriage, he has nothing to make the marriage work. And then he becomes a beggar. Then it creates stress. And women don't deal with stress too well. And women and love don't buy food. Love don't buy food. Pretty and handsome don't buy food. It's money that buys food. So all I'm saying is let people be responsible. That's all I'm saying. Be responsible. Plan for it. Save. Even if you are saving 200 cedis a month, 100 cedis a month for some time, you have something. And if you have something and your parents are also adding to it, that's fine. But even with that, you have to be very, very wise, because if you spend 50,000 or 20,000, whatever, on the marriage, and after the marriage you don't have anything, then you are beginning with zero. And that is a problem for me.
Papa.